He was 35,000 feet above the Pacific when the first crack appeared in the life he thought was unbreakable. Alexander Harrington, 46, billionaire founder of Aurora Tech, leaned back in the leather seat of his Gulfstream, thumb scrolling through photos of his family. Naomi's radiant smile at Mia's 8th birthday party 2 weeks ago. Ava killing it at her debate tournament. Ethan scoring the winning goal. 3 perfect kids. 1 perfect wife. The kind of family people wrote songs about. B. Why the time the wheels touched down in Miami at 2:17 a.m., Alex was already planning the surprise. He'd slip into the house, crawl into bed beside Naomi, wake her with the necklace he'd bought in Tokyo, diamonds the exact shade of her eyes. The mansion gates opened silently. The guard waved. Everything felt right, until he walked into the study and saw Marcus Delgado sitting in his chair, holding a glass of his 1978 Macallan like he belonged there. "Welcome home, brother," Mark said, voice too soft. "Close the door." Alex laughed. "Man, it's almost 3. You scared the hell out of me." Mark didn't laugh back. He just stared, eyes red like he'd been crying. Then he slid a folder across the desk. Alex opened it. Inside were screenshots, text from a number labeled "Only In." Messages that made his stomach drop through the marble floor. He'll never suspect. "Thank you for the best years of my life. I wish they were yours." Alex looked up. "This is a joke." "It's not." Mark's voice cracked. "I've known for years." Nurses at Naomi's old clinic talk. The timing of every pregnancy, Alex. Think about it. Ava came 9 months after that conference in Vegas you missed. Ethan after your appendix burst. Mia after the Europe trip. I didn't want to believe it either, but I hired someone. Quietly. The report's in there too. Alex's hands went numb. The folder slipped, papers scattering like dead leaves. Mark moved closer, placed a hand on his shoulder. "You're my brother. I couldn't let you raise another man's kids without knowing. I am sorry." The room spun. Alex saw every memory at once. Naomi crying in his arms the first time someone called her the N-word to her face. The 2 of them eating ramen in a 1-bedroom apartment while he coded until sunrise. Holding her hand in the delivery room, cutting the cord, hearing "it's a girl" 3 separate times he staggered to the wall of family photos. Ava's first steps. Ethan's first bike. Mia blowing out candles shaped like unicorns. Mark kept talking, voice gentle poison. "I brought whiskey. The good stuff. Drink with me. Then decide what you want to do." They drank until the bottle was empty and the sky outside turned gray. Mark left at dawn with a hug and one last whisper. "Whatever you need, I'm here." Alex didn't sleep. He sat in the dark, staring at the 3 hairbrushes lined up in the kids' bathroom like evidence. Ava's long curls. Ethan's short fade. Mia's tiny ponytails with pink band. T9:03 a.m. he made the call. Not to Naomi. Not to a lawyer. To a private lab in Switzerland that charged $200,000 for absolute discretion and results in 10 days that he took the samples himself. 1 lock from each brush while the house was still asleep. Sealed them. Sent them by private courier. Then he walked downstairs and pretended everything was fine. The next 10 days were held dressed up as normal. Breakfast with the family. Naomi kissing his cheek, asking why he looked so tired. Ava begging for permission to go to a concert. Ethan showing off a new skateboard trick. Mia climbing into his lap with a drawing of the 5 of them holding hands under a rainbow. Every smile felt like a knife. Mark texted every day. "You holding up? Thinking of you, man. Whatever you decide, I got your back." Alex stopped sleeping in the master bedroom. Said he had jet lag. Slept in the guest suite instead. Naomi knocked once, twice. He pretended to be asleep, that he lost 12 pounds. His suits hung loose. The staff whispered that on day 10. The courier arrived at 4:47 p.m. Alex locked himself in the office. Hands shaking so badly, he could barely tear the envelope. 3 reports. 3 names. 3 identical conclusions. Probability of paternity. 0%. He read it again. And again. Then he screamed. A sound that came from somewhere deeper than lungs. He swept everything off the desk. A crystal globe shattered. A framed photo of the 5 of them in Hawaii hit the floor and cracked right down the middle. He sank to his knees in the wreckage. sobbing like a man who'd just watched his entire world burn. T3:12 a.m., he called his lawyer. Start the paperwork. I want her gone. I want them gone. Alex, it's 3 in the morning. Do it. Morning came too bright, too cruel. He hadn't slept, hadn't showered. His eyes were swollen, his voice rawed. He texted Naomi. Family meeting. Living room. Now, Naomi came down the stairs in yoga pants and one of his old Harvard sweatshirts. Hair twisted up, smiling like nothing was wrong. Mia was on her hip, rubbing sleep from her eyes. Ava trailed behind, scrolling on her phone. Ethan carried his basketball, spinning it on one finger. Naomi's smile faded when she saw his face. Baby, what's wrong? You look like death. Alex couldn't speak at first. He just held up the 3 reports, letting them fall from his fingers like guilty confessions. Naomi's eyes tracked the papers to the floor. Her face went slack. Alex finally found his voice, broken and furious. None of them are mine, Naomi. Not one. 17 years. 17 years you let me believe. Mia started crying at his tone. Ethan dropped the basketball. Ava's phone slipped from her hand. Naomi set Mia down gently, told the kids in a voice too calm, "Go upstairs, babies. Mommy and Daddy need to talk." The kids didn't move. They looked terrified. Naomi turned back to Alex. Tears were already streaming down her cheeks, but they weren't the tears he expected. Not shame. Something else. She took one step toward him, then another. "Alex," she whispered, voice cracking like thin ice. "You actually believed him?" He blinked. "What?" Naomi covered her mouth with both hands, shoulders shaking. "Oh my God. Oh my God, you thought I cheated on you." Her knees buckled. She sank to the rug right there in the middle of the living room, crying so hard no sound came out. Alex stood frozen, the reports still scattered around them like fallen soldiers. Naomi looked up at him, eyes destroyed. "Give me 10 minutes, she choked out. "Then hate me forever if you want. Just 10 minutes. She stood, walked to the safe hidden behind the bookshelf, fingers trembling so badly she could barely work the combination. Alex watched, chest heaving, waiting for the proof of betrayal. Instead, Naomi pulled out a thick yellow folder, edges worn from years of being held but never opened. She laid it on the coffee table between them like an offering. Then she looked him dead in the eye and dropped the bomb that rewrote everything. "Alex," she said, voice breaking all over again. "You can't be their father because you're sterile." The word hit him like a bullet between the eyes. Sterile. Alex staggered back until his shoulders slammed against the wall. The DNA reports slipped from his fingers and scattered across the marble. Naomi didn't move. She just stood there, tears pouring, clutching that yellow folder like it was the only thing keeping her upright. "Say it again," he rasped. "You're sterile, Alex. 100%. Zero sperm count. Since before we even got married." He shook his head hard, once like he could shake the words out of his ears. "That's not possible. We have 3 children. We have 3 children," she repeated, voice trembling. "Because I made them without you knowing it was impossible the natural way." Silence exploded in the room, thick enough to choke on. Naomi opened the folder with shaking hands and started laying documents on the table like evidence in a trial. First page. A medical report dated 21 years ago. Severe orchitis secondary to mumps. Bilateral testicular atrophy. Prognosis, permanent azoospermia. His name at the top. His signature at the bottom, acknowledging receipt. Alex stared at it. He had no memory of ever seeing it. "I was with you the day the resident told you," Naomi whispered. "You were 25, burning up with fever, delirious. They said the swelling would go down, maybe some damage, maybe not. You signed the paper half-conscious and forgot about it the second we walked out." "I never forgot." Next page. A second opinion from Johns Hopkins. Same verdict. Permanent. Then a third from the Mayo Clinic. Identical that Alex's knees gave out. He slid down the wall until he was sitting on the floor, staring at the papers like they were written in fire. Naomi kept going, voice cracking with every sentence. "I waited 2 years. We tried everything. Temperature charts, prayers, every position the internet swore worked. Nothing. You started getting quiet. You stopped touching me the way you used to. One night you got drunk and cried in the shower, because your father kept asking when he was getting grandkids to carry the Harrington name. You said if you couldn't give me babies, I should leave you and find someone who could. Alex closed his eyes. The memory slammed into him. He had said those words. I decided right then, Naomi continued, that I was never leaving you. So I found another way. She pulled out donor profiles. 3 of them. Faces redacted, but the descriptions were painful. Donor 1174. 6 feet 2 inches, Caucasian, hazel eyes, dimpled smile, IQ 148, no hereditary diseases. Donor 2908. Identical parameters. Donor 4551. Same again. She had chosen men who could have been his brothers. I paid the clinic $500,000 over the years to bury every record. I signed ironclad NDAs. I told no one. Not my mother. Not my best friend. No one. Because I knew if you ever found out you were infertile, you would leave me out of guilt. And I wasn't willing to lose you. Alex's breathing came in ragged gasps. Naomi dropped to her knees in front of him. I stole your choice. I lied every time I let you believe those babies were conceived in our bed. I am sorry. I'm so sorry. But I was 27 years old and terrified of living without you. Upstairs, 3 small creaks on the staircase. The kids had been listening the whole time. Ava appeared first, eyes red, arms wrapped around herself. Ethan behind her, jaw clenched the way Alex is used to when he was trying not to cry. Mia clutching her stuffed giraffe, bottom lip trembling. Ava's voice broke the silence. So, you're not our real dad? Alex looked up at her, at all 3 of them, and something inside him shattered wide open. That he opened his arms. They ran. Ava crashed into him first, burying her face in his neck. Ethan wrapped his arms around both of them, silent tears soaking Alex's shirt. Mia climbed into his lap and held his face with both tiny hands. You're my daddy, she said fiercely. You'll always be my daddy. Alex held them so tight he was scared he'd hurt them, but he couldn't let go. Sobs tore out of him in waves he didn't know a man could survive. Naomi sat back on her heels, crying quietly, giving them space. When the storm finally slowed, Alex looked at her over the heads of their children. How did Mark know? He asked, voice raw. Naomi wiped her face. He didn't. He guessed. Or he hoped. He's been in love with me since sophomore year. He saw the donor clinic charge on an old joint account we shared for 1 month before I moved everything. He put the pieces together and waited for the perfect moment to destroy us. Alex's eyes turned ice cold. He kissed each child on the forehead, told them to go pack overnight bags. They were going to their grandmother's for 1 night. They obeyed without question. The second the front door closed behind them, Alex pulled out his phone. Mark answered on the first ring. Hey, man, how you hold? You're done, Alex said quietly. Fired. Security is at your house now. Anything with my name on it gets boxed. You have 10 minutes before the police arrive for corporate espionage and attempted extortion. Mark started stammering. Alex hung up. He turned back to Naomi. She was standing now, arms wrapped around herself, waiting for judgment. Alex crossed the room in 3 strides and pulled her into him so hard her feet left the ground. I'm sorry, she sobbed into his chest. Stop. His voice cracked. You gave me the only thing I ever really wanted. A family. You carry my dreams when I couldn't. I'm the one who's sorry I ever doubted you. They stood like that until the sun went down and the house was completely dark. 6 months later, the beach ceremony was small. Just 20 people. Ava walked Naomi down the aisle this time. Ethan carried the rings. Mia scattered rose petals with fierce concentration. When a minister asked for vows, Alex took the microphone without notes. I thought fatherhood was about blood, he said, voice carrying over the waves. I was wrong. It's about showing up. It's about choosing every single day to love harder than you thought possible. I choose you for today, tomorrow, every day I have left. Naomi's turn. She didn't even try to stop the tears. You are the safest place I've ever known, she said. Thank you for letting me be your home. They kissed while their children cheered loud enough to scare the seagulls. 1 year later, Alex founded the Aurora Miracle Foundation. Tens of millions of dollars to help couples facing infertility. He and Naomi became the public face. No shame, no secrets. They told the story 1,000 times on podcasts and magazines, to rooms full of men who cried because someone finally said it out loud. You can be a real father even if biology says no. Every night, no matter where in the world he was, Alex FaceTimed home. Every night, three voices shouted, "Hi, Daddy," like it was the first time. And every night, before Mia fell asleep clutching her giraffe, she made him pinky promise. "Are you still my daddy forever?" Alex kissed her forehead, same as always. Forever and ever, princess. Nothing in the world can change that. Not even science. Because some truths are bigger than DNA. Some men become fathers in hospital rooms. Others become fathers the moment they decide love is enough. Alex Harrington became a father 3 separate times. Once for each child who called him dad when they didn't have to, and that made him the richest man on earth.